This is Noise Complaint, my badass 67 Mustang that's been broken for multiple months because I destroyed the rear end in it. In this video, we're gonna bring it back better than ever, so let's get to it. Let's just push it into the shop real fast. Just give me a minute. I'm gonna myself. Cameraman, just leave me out of this. Cameraman, just leave me out of this, okay? Rear-ended Noise Complaint is still the factory 8-inch, but I've upgraded just about everything. It's got Moser axles, and I've gone through many upgraded center sections. This one is a 462, but I've also had 380s and I've also had 350s, and I have broken all of them. This one, as you can see, is especially bad. I don't know if you know anything about rear ends, but they're not supposed to do that. As you can see, this 462 is the pinion bearing has deleted itself, and instead of repairing it or replacing it again, I'm giving up on this 8-inch. I'm tired of it. I bought so many expensive center sections. I've twisted the Moser axles. It's got drum brakes. It's time for an upgrade. Traction bar off. Out. Traction bar number 2 out. Drive shaft loop. Quick release. Now let's remove the drive shaft. Damn, the drive shaft's stuck. Oh, this is kind of stuck in the transmission right now. That's interesting. That's not good. I was not intending on pulling a transmission in this video. I still don't want to. What's going on? Come on, it's not funny anymore. If you've ever removed a drive shaft, you might know it shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be stuck. This is not good. There it is. That thing was stuck. Now, obviously, I've beat the shit out of this with the hammer. First thing I'm checking are the splines in this slip yoke because I have actually bent the splines on these multiple times. And these ones are, maybe they have a little bent to them, and they shouldn't. But the problem is, I do all those clutch jumps and power shifts and everything, and the slip yoke is only in the transmission about this far, so it's taking all the force. And sometimes it will bend those splines a little bit. Not good. Now I'm kind of thinking when the rear blew out, it just forced the drive shaft forward and jammed it into the transmissions, and those splines, which probably are slightly bent, just got stuck on that shaft, which is why we just had to hammer on it so much to get it out. I don't know if the transmission's okay. That output shaft seal is stuck. It's almost like the drive shaft machined it into the back of the tail housing. What do you think? Is it gonna need a new one? I'll clean that up, put it right back in, it'd be fine. Yikes. Honestly, I think everything else is fine in here. I think it's gonna be all right. So, where's that trans plug at? Oh, I'm sorry guys, I forgot. Oh, that doesn't appear to be stopping any leaks. Maybe that'll help. 2 shocks, out. Sway bar completely out of the way. This factory brake line is super crusty and I've never replaced it, and it's also stuck on the hard line, so time to delete it. Oh yeah, wow. I think that's factory. To finally get rid of these janky U-bolts, I don't know if you remember last year, I did a lot of ghetto repair work on these leaf spring perches. This side's ready to go. Side number 2. Clear. I'm gonna remove this from the leaf springs. Last step, drop the leaf springs. 1 down, remove the custom pinion spacers. Leaf spring number 2, down she goes. And finally, after years, my entire ownership, this 8-inch comes all the way out. Off we go. Hold on, wait just a minute. That brings us here to this badass new rear end, thanks to my good friends over at CJ Pony Parts. They were nice enough to send me this Currie 9-inch drop-in package. It's got 411 gears, hardened 31 spline axles, and disc brakes. Basically, way too nice for Noise Complaint, but it's gonna class her up. putting a lot of trust in me right now. Let's go down this hill. Let's go down the hill. It's only accelerating. Dude, I should just let it go and see where it lands. I'm fine. My legs are strong as You don't even want to know about these legs. Boom, boom. Those are tight. 1, 2, 3, up. One bolt. 2 bolts. Started. Woo. Oh, this looks nice. Damn. I'm excited. Tighten those before I forget. This dowel pin was just a little bit too large because I made it myself last year. So I just gotta shape it down a little bit. No problem. All right, that should work. Now that we have the rear sitting in the car, we can see all of the copious new problems. Check them out. For starters, the drive shaft is now definitely too long. If it wasn't already too long, now it definitely is. So I gotta get this shortened, and I also gotta get a bigger U-joint put in it because this uses a 3150. Issue number 2, the sway bar does not quite fit anymore because this thing is super beefy, but I might be able to modify the mounts or something to make it work. Issue number 3, I gotta wait on some parts because this 3-inch axle tube does not accept the old spring plates and old U-bolts, so I rigged some up. This came out of a Ford Thunderbird, this came out of my Dodge Dakota, and these are pieces of pipe that I have cut to use as spacers. I've basically just rigged this thing up so I can set the wheels on it, put it on the ground, and measure for a new drive shaft, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get all those parts, and then we're gonna get this thing together, and it's gonna run. All right, let's go drive this thing. Just kidding. Looks pretty good with disc brakes on it though. My 2 Dodge Dakota U-bolts and badly fitting spring plates are keeping it together enough to roll out of the shop for the weekend, so we'll be back. Change of scenery. We are now on jack stands finishing this install, and I finally have all the parts. So my little homemade U-bolt setup can come out. This is gonna require hammers to remove. It was not nice going together. Ford Thunderbird spring plates, come on out. There we go. I'm going to be installing these Currie spring plates. They're super beefy, come with new U-bolts, and it should bolt right onto this brand new setup. Let's put them on. Spring plate. Got it snugged up, so now I can kind of jack the rear end up. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna do a little bit of jacking, and then I'm gonna go right at this rear end, and I'm gonna start drilling until it's tight.
That was bad. All of that was bad.
No, like it was good, you know? I'm bricked up.
Time to get these bad boys tight.
We can now put the shock back in. Get in there. Perfect.
Snug. 2, install. Now it is time for the fun game called Make Brake Lines. So I found this piece of used brake line and sort of bent it to shape for the driver's side, so I just drilled out a little bit of the inlet because we gotta flare them, and flaring sucks. Hopefully I flare all of these right the first time and I don't forget any fittings because this will aggravate me quick. Flare number 1. Now let's go back, get it nice and clean. I can already tell, this is a winner. Beautiful. A beautiful flare from Tom's Refurb.
Oh, I do believe that is the best brake flare fitting I've ever seen.
Flare number 2. This should go right in. We're gonna have to probably bend it a little bit, but should go in. This brake line originally was from like a Silverado or something like that. So I have just stolen a portion of it for this. So I am having to extend it and twist it and finagle it, but it should work. I could also have gone to the auto parts store and gotten a new brake line, but that would require money and time. Okay, 1, tight. 2, tight. Totally can't tell that came off a Chevy truck. I now have the remaining Silverado brake line that I'm gonna try to use for this side. I have no idea if it's enough. And it already has these bends in it that I'm gonna have to undo, and it's gonna look super wiggly and bad, but it'll be fine. So I'm cutting off a curvy end right now so that I can slip on some fittings, and then we're gonna eyeball this. It's gonna be perfect. Boom! We take this, we go under. This brake line has got a long way to go. I'm gonna straighten out sort of kind of one of the bends. Oh, we're in the right wheelhouse. It's just gotta go all the way from there to here. I have now used the vise to undo all of the bends of this brake line. As you can see, it is perfectly straight. So now, we'll see if it's potentially long enough. Hopefully, this is the last flare. Hopefully I do not mess it up. I might. I'm basically gonna try to take this mount that bolts to the rear end and bolt it to a closer bolt. I already can tell you I don't think that is enough brake line on the other side to do that though. So this is a stupid idea. I hate brake lines. I did have to go to the car parts store and get a longer brake line. This is the closest one they had. It's too long, but I guess too long is better than too short. Now I'm just gonna have to get a little creative with how I route this. Just make it look all beautiful, you know, because it is so extra long. Kind of sucks. I've shortened it and reflared the end. So now, hopefully, everything threads together smoothly. It could look a little more perfect, but you guys know me. I don't care. Oh, almost stripping it. I should really be using a brake line wrench, but I'm not. It's tight. Down. Oh yeah. Up. Brakes are bled. The issue now is I do not believe my sway bar is gonna work unless I can grip around the axle, which I don't think I can. Now my solution to this problem for this video is to just leave the sway bar off because it's not gonna make the car immobile. I have some pretty cool handling and brake upgrades planned for the next video, so we can focus on that then. I think I just need longer Heim joints to make that further back, go onto the rear end. I'm not worried about it. I want to drive my car, so I'm just gonna leave the sway bar off and to the side for right now. Now we're installing traction bars. 1, 2.
Tom, we need to put that in the diff. Dude, that's the gear oil. What are you doing?
Now the pumping marathon is starting. I have to put like 3 quarts of 85 140 gear oil in this, and it's thick. Boy, that was a lot of pumping and a lot of gear oil. My favorite activity. New output shaft seal because we completely destroyed the old one. Installed, totally didn't make me want to light the car on fire. Got our beefy new drive shaft here. Shout out Moxley's in Street, Maryland. And drive shafts in. I tell you what, everything is beefy now. We got these new 1350 U joints. Even the U bolts have big nuts. Everything is tough now. We've now run into yet another problem. Because this 9-inch has a yoke down here, it doesn't quite fit in our drive shaft loop. As you can see, it's pretty close, and I could probably force it by jacking the rear end up and installing it, but that would make it so anytime these wheels kind of hop or go over a big bump in the road, it might make the drive shaft rub the loop. So I'm gonna have to modify this drive shaft loop, but I guess I could do that when I modify the sway bar. Before we slap the wheels on, everybody take a gander at that sticker. Currie rear. Nicest rear that's been in this Mustang since your mom rode in it. AutoZone spacer on the $4,000 rear. Yeah. I think we're ready to drive. Now that I've made a horrendous mess, let's see if this thing starts. Before I drive it, look how disgusting the engine bay is. It sat outside for a while. Can't wait to hear this old girl. All right, we get a little fuel up into the car, but I bet she'll fire right up. It was warm outside. Let's see how this 9-inch works. I'm not gonna beat the shit out of it yet, all right? I wanna break it in and be nice to it, because that's probably the most expensive part I've ever had on this car. Thank you, CJs. Oh, she's still a little grumpy. Now, the 411s that are in the car now are definitely gonna be a lot less aggressive than those 462s, but that's probably a good thing because the gas mileage in this thing was like a nightmare.
Not that we really worry about that, but the 411s are a nice middle ground. We're back. Ooh, these brakes feel good. Damn! Those stock 68 brakes in the front and these Curries in the back, they're Explorer brakes, I think. It stops noticeably better. Still breaking in that posi though. I want to give her a little sauce, but not before I warm up the posi a little bit, you know what I'm saying? When you get a brand new rear like this, you don't want to go immediately to abuse. I think the braking period's like 500 miles, but you guys know me, I'm gonna do a pull in like 2 minutes. So I'm at least gonna break in the posi unit a little bit, which you do by driving around in circles like I am. I look like a crazy person, but that's fine. Alright, well now it looks like I've either lost a motor mount or my trans mount is blown out. I think it's motor mount. Sometimes my motor mounts just eradicate themselves, but that's not gonna stop me from testing the capabilities of this new rear end. Now these are all brand new parts, and I'm not gonna go mercilessly beating the snot out of it a bunch of times, but I am gonna beat the snot out of it one time. Let's see if it works. That felt good. I'm having my girls back, baby. My car's back. Alright, I'm done. Oh, I like this thing, man. Well, guys, I'm happy the old girl's back. Like I said, I didn't want to beat on it too much because that rear end is all brand new and is the nicest part on the entire car. Don't want to break it yet. I want to treat it nice for a while. So stay tuned to the best damn automotive content on YouTube because I have some very cool things planned for this car. I'm getting ready to do some things to it that I have always wanted to do. Basically, let me just say it's going to be an autocross beast when we're done with it. So stay tuned. I love you guys. Check out tomsrefurb.shop because we have big merch sales going this holiday season. Check out Speedy's equipment because we got a restock coming soon. And also check out the Patreon if you want to see some cool special cars. Love ya. Bye.